Going here. So for anyone that's been following my involvement at ArenaNet, I originally joined the community team in November of last year, while Allie was out, and I was off the team for about the past 3 months after February, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to say I'm back on the team, not in the community coordinator role. That's actually currently being held by Mark K. You guys might see him on the forums at the bottom of thread just before it gets locked. He's the new competitive or PvP World v World and Skills and Balance community coordinator. So wanted to throw that out there. I'm not sure a lot of people knew that, but he's out there reading your forum posts and whatnot. My new role at the company is going to be competitive events manager, which is kind of a nebulous thing right now. But
it's all coming together, though.
Yes, indeed. So for right now, working on things like Tournament of Legends and upcoming events, I would say, and upcoming World v World Tournament. People looking at me strange in the background. Let's ignore them. Yeah. So anyways, just a slight, a small announcement. I just wanted to say I'm back on the community team, working again with PvP, World v World, and Skills and Balance. Extremely happy to be back on the team.
We're extremely happy to have you back.
She brought in cupcakes.
I did.
It was
I sacrificed a night of gaming to make you cupcakes.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I needed cupcakes. I'm
glad I could provide.
I'm losing. I'm just getting so thin.
Yeah.
That
I was worried.
Yeah.
I didn't want you to waste away. So.
All right. So the real news, I guess, the reason that everyone's here is we want to talk about the spring tournament, which ends
June 3rd. Well, technically, sorry, it ends May 30th, but rewards will be available on June 3rd.
Which is today.
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
Today is May 30th, and it ends today. In fact, it's already over in EU, right?
That's correct.
And so NA has a couple hours left until reset.
They do.
I mean, it's probably pretty locked in.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I wouldn't say there's a lot of not going to be any last minute underdog comebacks, but
yeah.
Anyway, so we just want to talk a little about the spring tournament, and so what we want to talk about words. What we want to start talking about is season or tournament one, the first one that we ran, compared to the tournament we just ran in the spring tournament, and the things that were done differently, and where we think things went well, and we'll kind of go from there.
Sounds good.
So I think one of the biggest complaints from the first tournament, or season as it was called back then, was the reward structure.
Right. So a really outstanding issue with that reward structure was everyone was required to get the meta to get rewards, but the numbers for the achievements were much higher than they were this time around. So ultimately, lower tiered servers that maybe were experiencing harder matchups were really having a harder time completing these achievements. You know, that was something we wanted to address this time around. In addition to that, deciding for players what they would get as a reward, that was our first take at it, but I think this time around it was much better. We're giving a vendor with options, so you still get rewards based on your placement, but you get to decide how you want to use those tournament tickets. So,
and I would say that the rewards that are on the vendor are considerably better than the last time around.
Last time around, you know, it was pretty standard loot that you would get. This time around, we actually got 2 full weapon sets, which was fantastic. We were very excited that we were able to offer that this time around. So I think that is much more compelling to fight for. We also, you know, announced rewards before the tournament this time around. Last time it was kind of a surprise, and I think a lot of people were disappointed with what they ended up with. So we definitely wanted to learn from that and improve it, because our ultimate goal for the tournaments is to make an enjoyable... add enjoyable gameplay, make it fun, add some flavor to World vs. World. So.
Definitely make it a little bit more competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, more people coming in makes the game funner, right? Like if you have people to fight along with. So another added benefit from the seasons is that we get a lot more people in. Gameplay feels a bit more engaging. You know, you're not running around for 5 minutes trying to find a bad guy in like the lower tiers. Now you've got people all the time.
Another really big difference this time around. Edge of the Mist is available, so and a lot of the achievements you were able to progress in the Edge of the Mists. It could be frustrating in Season 1 when you were queued and you just wanted to get in there and work towards your meta, and so that was a really great...
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, so for Tournament 1, there was no Edge of the Mists. You would sit in the the queues.
Right.
For, if you didn't get lucky, you'd sit in sometimes for like 3 hours, 4 hours.
I've heard that. I fortunately play on a lower tiered server,
Yes.
so...
Yeah, this is Tier 1 speaking,
Yeah.
sorry. So yeah, now with Edge of the Mist, you can go in and you can get those achievements there.
Yep.
So if you're not, you know, I would say Edge of the Mist is a bit more casual.
Definitely. As you are probably aware, anything you do in the Edge of the Mist does not count towards regular World versus World points per tick. But you can still progress your character in World versus World, so you can still gain ranks, badges of honor,
Right.
Loot, sweet bags.
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 I'm all about the bags.
Bags, bags, bags.
So you mentioned achievements.
Yes.
And why were the achievements better in Season 2, or
Tournament.
this is awful, Tournament 2 versus
Yes.
Tournament 1?
We brought down the numbers substantially and reduced the requirement for the meta. A couple reasons we did this. There are some people who are more driven by achievements and you know, they just want to earn the achievement points and the rewards tied to them, which is great. But for more hardcore WvW players, you know, they felt like they weren't really contributing. Some of them weren't contributing so much to the overall points per tick, and instead were just in there farming achievements. So we wanted to not detract from the existing World versus World gameplay, but we still wanted to, you know, give players who maybe aren't interested in World versus World a reason to come and check it out. We've seen our numbers grow during tournaments, which is really awesome to see. A lot of people I've heard have never played World vs. World, and they come in for the achievements, and then they find that they actually really like it, and then stick around. So that's a really good benefit of having them. Also, having the numbers reduced this time around ensured that for the casual...
You mean for the meta to be more achievable?
Yeah.
The amount of achievements? Okay.
Exactly. Since the numbers were reduced and it took less to get it, I think we saw a lot of the casual players, you know, get that and then go back to what they prefer to do in Guild Wars 2, and then the people who remained during the subsequent matchups were you know, more focused on the PPT, less focused on
It's just more accessible all around.
Yeah.
Okay. So, to shift gears slightly, I would say that we're happy with the improvements made from the first tournament to the second one, but we realize
That's
that
not to say that
there are not improvements to be made.
There are more to be made, yes.
I would say that the experience had in certain tiers is not, it's not the same across the board.
Right.
Some tiers had different experiences than other ones. Some
Right.
were more enjoyable, some less enjoyable.
Definitely.
Is the best way to put it.
Yeah, a good example. I'm in Silver League, and we had some really great matchups. Everyone was fighting really hard, but I'm definitely aware that there were some more competitive matchups in Tier 1, and you know, because we had the tournament run for so long, which I think in the future we're throwing around ideas about changing the duration of the tournament, or maybe even the duration of matchups. I think that will address the issue we saw where there were a lot of kind of stale matchups where people, because their points were so close, they were being matched with each other again, which is how the Swiss style should work, but what didn't work is how long the tournament went on for. So, you know, that's something we will definitely look to improve for the next one.
So, on that note, so there has been a lot of conversation on the forums, in-game, pretty much everywhere, on ways that the tournament can be improved or where people think that it should be changed.
Yep.
And this is just pretty much across the board, whether it's, people have feelings on everything.
Yeah.
You give someone $100 and they're going to want $101.
That's true.
So, like, it doesn't matter where the feedback is. Like, we're looking for feedback on reward structure. You said match duration.
Yeah, achievements, really anything that you feel could improve how it feels competitively, but also I think the thing we really want to reiterate is we want these to be fun. We want these tournaments to be enjoyable. If the matchups are not fun and enjoyable, then we're not doing our part. So any feedback that you guys have on that, constructive criticism is the best, and it will really help us to improve and get the best possible version of tournaments out there for you.
So, and the feedback is something we're actively looking for, and starting next week, we're going to be kicking off a CDI.
Yes.
Specifically for World v. World seasons, or tournaments.
Tournaments.
I'm just, slap me every time I say it.
You're fine.
So we have a big interest in wanting to make sure that this is as competitive and as fun, as you said, as possible.
Absolutely.
And we'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on ways that it can be changed, or suggestions, proposals on how it can be changed. And again, we'll be starting that next week. And I'm pretty excited to see what you guys come up with. I mean, there's been a lot of feedback on the forums already.
Yeah.
I know you've been in there, been posting on the forums quite a bit lately.
You might see my name pop up in there. I'm trying to reply. We read the forums a lot, but we don't have a lot of time to reply individually. So please know that your feedback is not falling on deaf ears. We do see it. It's just sometimes.
And now that we have Mark on the team as well.
You should see him in there too.
Mark will be over there, and now that I'm back on the team officially, I should probably be in there as well, and I'll try to make some time for that.
That would be great.
Yeah, so again, that'll be starting up next week. Looking forward to you guys' thoughts on that.
Mm-hmm.
So, one other thing I wanted to talk about real quick here. So we've got two things left for you guys. I'm going to talk about our next show that's going to be coming up next week. This is a really short episode today. We're cutting it short. Basically, CDI next week for World, and then the next thing, and you're about to say something.
Well, I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about the rewards and where they're available.
Wow,
and
there's even a note here to talk about that, and I completely skipped it. So
it's cool. It's not that.
You should do that because that's what you were here for. So that would make sense.
Yeah. Basically, for those of you who haven't read, we tried to put most of this information out in our blog post before the start of the tournament, but you may not have seen it, or maybe it wasn't clear. So I just wanted to remind you all that the tournament rewards are going to be available on the Battle Historian on June 3rd. So at the end of the match today for North America, so Europe already got them, you'll get your placement chests. It'll have tournament tickets in it and a couple other goodies. And then on June 3rd, the Battle Historian will have a new conversation on him, which will allow you to peruse his goods.
Where do you find the Battle Historian?
He's located in all the portal keeps in the World vs. World maps, so you've probably run by him before because we tried to stick him right in your way. So yeah, he will have all the rewards. As you may have seen, we have really awesome weapon sets this time around. If you're not able to purchase one of the Mistforged versions this time, we are planning to make the tournament tickets a lasting thing, so they won't expire. So please do save them. Don't delete them if you can't get what you want. And there will be, more rewards in the future, and hopefully some of the same rewards if in case there's something you really had your heart set on and you want to go back and get it.
What are some examples of how many tickets you would get for different tiers?
So first place is 500 tickets. Each place below drops 50, so it goes 500, 450, 400, 350. Or I'm sorry, then I think it drops to 25. So, oh no, 350, and then at fifth place and on to 9th, it'll decrement by 25 tickets. So at minimum, you'll get 200 tickets, which is enough to get one of the heroes' weapons.
And what did you have to do to get eligible for the tickets? Just to make it very clear.
You had to complete the meta. So for those of you who didn't, I'm sorry.
So,
better luck next time.
So everyone in EU has the season or the tournament is pretty much over.
For them, yeah.
But in NA, you still have time.
Yep, you have until 6 daylight savings time.
Around
always
there.
Throws me off.
Yes. Clocks.
Yeah.
See, I'm from Arizona. We didn't have daylight savings time, so it's really
that
rough.
Sounds nice.
Yes, it was quite nice.
Yeah. I like when time is static.
You would think.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So if the Mistforged weapons are 300.
Yes. The fancy ones, the super shiny ones, are 300 tickets each. You can also combine them. Well, you can purchase a gift of hero for 200 tickets and a standard weapon, hero's weapon, for 100. I realize that that's the same price as the Mistforged heroes, and the design of that is in case you can't afford to buy one outright this time, you save your tickets or you buy what you can now, and then next time around you'll be able to craft whichever one you want, or maybe you'll come in first and you'll just be able to buy one outright. And to remind people, because this came up in the forums earlier, if you purchase the Mistforged version of a weapon, you will also unlock the heroes. So
okay, it's good to know.
Yeah.
So to reiterate, the vendor will be available
June 3rd.
June 3rd. The tournament's over in EU.
It is.
But it is
today, this evening.
At some time in the future
today.
At reset.
Yes. Yep.
So if you have not completed your meta achievement, you still have time to go out there, try to get the last ones you have left over, and as soon as the matchup is over, you get your tickets.
Yep. And then on June 3rd. June 3rd. Then they'll be available on the Battle Historian.
I'm really glad we covered that.
Yeah, there may have been questions about it, so just
I've been watching the chat. Someone asked if you could salvage.
No, you cannot.
Cannot salvage the Mistforged?
Why would you ever?
I don't know. I feel like a trolled, possibly, but I think it's a viable question. Possibly.
Yeah, well. Mystery solved. You cannot
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go, guy from chat. So anyways, what I want to talk about real quick. So the next Ready Up, so 2 weeks from today, for those of you who were following PvP for, you know, like a year ago, we used to do something called State of the Game every month, and basically I would have on like Chap or Carl or Tyler or Evan, and then I would bring on anywhere between like 4 to like 6 players sometimes, and we would just talk about the balance of the game and where things were heading. I've been asked a lot lately to do this again. There hasn't been the show run since I think July of last year. Steppenwolf hosted a show and me Chap came on. It was kind of really weird that I came on to be a guest. But I've been asked a lot the past couple months, actually the past year, like, you know, we'd like to have State of the Game back, or could you please find someone to run it? Well, nothing's happened, so we decided we're going to go ahead and run it ourselves. So we're going to do a special edition of Ready Up 2 weeks from now. The players are still being decided, but we'll be bringing top players from EU and NA. This is a great time for us to have this conversation because we're, you know, working on balance all the time.
Yep.
And we could really use the feedback, especially from those guys.
Yeah.
So I'll be opening up a thread up on the forums probably sometime, I would say next week or maybe the week after, before the show, looking for topics that you would like to have the players and us discuss. And we're looking forward to it. Like, we had TCG on, the guys who won the Tournament of Legends in the, it was about a month ago. I think we had them on. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoyed the conversation with those guys. I like just talking the game. I like finding out where people think things are strong, what needs to change. I really like it a lot. And again, it'll help us out immensely. So looking forward to having that. That'll be, I believe that'll be June 13th. Time and dates are really hard for me. 14th?
Maybe. Around
it's the next 2 Fridays from today.
That will happen.
We should definitely get the dates and times nailed down next time.
Yeah.
We should take a note on that one.
Yes.
All right, so I guess we're going to move on to... We have some community events coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you had...
I was just going to... I was going to ask, speaking of dates and being bad at them, when can we expect to see the tournament CDI pop up on the forums?
That would be next week.
Next week sometime?
I don't have a specific date for it yet. I think we'll have to...
Sometime in the future? Soon?
Next week as a solid week.
Okay.
I could give you that time frame.
Sure.
We'll have the tournament CDI ready for you guys, ready to go. So I would recommend maybe, you know, start thinking about it. Write down what you think could be some good ideas. Again, the CDI operates very differently from normal feedback threads or from a normal thread.
Right.
There will be rules, obviously, in the thread. So if you guys have participated in those before, awesome. Like, it'll be the same way pretty much. If you haven't, I would suggest taking a look at some of the older CDIs, just seeing how they're run, what's expected, the dialogue between between us and you guys, and just how that all works. And then the other one that I'll be putting up is not a CDI for State of the Game. That's just a list of topics you guys want to have, and I'll see if what we can work in an effort to make the show not 6 hours long. We'll probably have to cut a couple things, but we'll try to talk about as much as we can. So anyways, we got a couple events coming up next week. So Blue's calling this his summer schedule. He's out of class.
Excellent.
He's got a sweet studio in his basement now.
I heard about that.
It's pretty sweet. There's like a little bit of mold on the wall behind him. It's pretty cool.
You gotta have that.
He's painting. He's in the process.
Wow.
He'll cover it with some paint. But anyways, so he's off of school and he's gonna be running a ton of tournaments. So starting next week, we will have a 2v2 tournament on Tuesdays. And ESL is going to be running one in Europe at 11 a.m. Pacific time. I know that one. Blue will be running one on NA that's run by Miss Pedia. That'll be at 5 p.m. And then on Wednesdays, are going to be 3v3 tournaments, which is something that is... We've had a couple of them, but, you know, he's going to make it into a solid thing now.
That's awesome. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, they're pretty fun. Me and... or Tyler and I, Tyler Chapman, we played in one of the 2v2 tournaments back a couple months ago, and we made it to, like... the finals in the loser bracket, but still, I didn't want to say loser bracket, but it was an accomplishment. I feel good.
Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you. So then we'll have 3v3 tournaments on Wednesdays, and that'll be 11 a.m. for EU, 5 p.m. for NA. On Thursdays, we'll always have the ESL Weekly Cup. That'll be number 32, and that'll be at 11 a.m. for EU. Blue will be doing the NA version at 5 p.m. But for this week, the 2v2 tournament for NA is today. Hey, what time is it at? I think
5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time.
Thank you. And then tomorrow will be the Conquest Cup, so the 5v5, which will eventually be on Thursdays. Tomorrow's the one-off, and that'll be at 3 p.m. 3 p.m.
Okay.
3, not 5. 3 p.m. And again, guys, these are all open sign-up. You can win gems, bring your team in. You know, there's no shame in losing and no shame in trying. You guys should definitely get into it. Tournament Legends 2, we've announced before, is coming up again, so now is the time to practice and try to win yourself a free legendary for your team. Yep. So this is definitely the time to be practicing. All right, I think that covers it. I think we've got some. I think the events are going at the bottom. We had ESL Weekly Cup number 30 happened this week. Congrats to as last week. I take that back. Read it backwards. Boone won last week. Second place was Team Exaltation. This week was first place 55 HP Monks, a regular winner.
Yep.
And Team Exaltation came in second place again. Kind of up and comers, came out of nowhere. Again, congrats to those guys. We're going to wrap things up with a community clip, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for the Ready Up one-off State of the Game edition. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.